Okay, today we're making chocolate brownies. These are a very deep chocolate fudgy moist brownie. And what we're doing here is I'm melting over fairly low heat. I've got a cup of butter started, and we're going to add 4 1-ounce squares of unsweetened chocolate and melt them together. And we're also going to add in a 12-ounce bag of chocolate chips. I prefer Ghirardelli. They're a much better flavor than either Hershey's or Nestle's, but you can use whatever you want. To the base, I like to add the milk chocolate. You can use a combination of milk chocolate, semi-sweet, all of one or all of the other. You just dump everything together and melt it together. You want to make sure that you have a 9x13 pan well greased, and the oven is going to be set to preheat at 350. And we're almost all melted here. When this is melted, you want to take it off the heat, let it sit for a few minutes just to cool down slightly, and then we'll add it to the rest of our brownie mixtures. Okay, so while your chocolate's cooling, you're going to mix up the rest of your ingredients. What I've got here is a cup of sugar and 4 eggs that we're going to mix together. You just want to beat them lightly here. And the reason you cool the chocolate is that you don't want to cook the eggs when you pour it in. So we've got that mix. We're going to add about a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon, and yes, that is correct, a tablespoon of vanilla, and a teaspoon and a half of baking powder. And we're going to mix that all in, and then we're going to add a half cup plus 2 tablespoons of flour. And then we'll add in the chocolate mixture. Now that you've got that all mixed up, we're going to add the slightly cool chocolate mixture. And I try to beat a little bit as we go. I'm going to mix that in really well. And then from here you can add pretty much what you like. I usually add nuts because we like nuts. And I add, it's probably a cup and a half of nuts there. And I add in another 12-ounce bag of semi-sweet chocolate chips. You could add any kind of chips you want. You could, peanut butter chips would be good in here also, or even the white chocolate chips. And you just mix them in.
Andy's mints.
Yep, Andy's mints would be good as well. The little chopped up pieces. As I said, you can add whatever you like. I used pecans because that's what I've got. I've used walnuts before. It doesn't really matter. Anything you like. And then we're going to pour this into the greased 9x13 pan. And we're going to bake it. I usually start checking mine about 20 minutes. It usually takes in my oven between 20 and 25 minutes. The recipe calls for 30 minutes, but I find that it doesn't usually take that long. So I would say start checking shortly after 20 minutes. It'll start to pull away from the edges of the pan. And you can always do the toothpick test. You don't want to overbake these because they get hard and dry, and you really want them to be moist and fudgy. just kind of level them out the best you can. They'll settle out some on their own. And they're ready to go in the oven. And we'll check longer. Yeah, a few minutes longer. Still a little gooey in the middle. About another 5 minutes. And we'll check to see if we're done. It's really damp here today with the rain, so it's going to take a little longer for some reason, but that's what you want. No, just a couple moist little crumbs on there. You can see it's pulling away from the edge. And it's firm to the touch. And now you just need to let it cool. Since these are so fudgy, you really want to let these cool off well. Once they're cooled, I usually put them in the fridge for about an hour to get them well chilled, and they'll cut much easier that way, but they don't need to be kept in the fridge.
How is it?
And after they're cool, you can cut them and you'll see they're very moist and fudgy inside.